there's still so much happening beneath the sea that remains a mystery to us. In fact, we currently know more about the surface of Mars than we do about the ocean floor. This lack of exploration has led to some truly strange and baffling finds beneath the waves. With that in mind, here are the top 15 underwater discoveries that scientists still can't explain. Number 15. Sunken Soviet Prison. Following decades of communist rule, the Soviet Union's satellite states were in a state of disarray. Many of these countries have since worked hard to improve their image in order to erase any trace of their destructive past and usher in a new age of peace. A prison complex in northern Estonia serves as a visible reminder of the Soviet era. Undaunted, the destination has evolved into a popular beach hangout for both tourists and locals. A place that once housed thousands of inmates has since been transformed into a relaxing spot for locals to sun and scuba dive. Limestone deposits are one of Estonia's most profitable natural resources, which is why the Soviet Union chose to locate the prison outside the small town of Rummu. Incarcerated people were the ideal solution for a process that required a lot of physical labor to extract soft rock from the quarry. Since then, the quarry and its active water pumps were abandoned when Estonia regained its independence in 1991. As a result, groundwater quickly seeped in, filling the large hole and causing some of the buildings to collapse. However, the destruction of one landscape allowed the beauty of another to shine through. Surrounded by rigid white ash cliffs, the striking blue waters allowed a gentle curve of green vegetation to envelop the area. This area is now known as the Blue Lagoon and is popular with both locals and tourists all year. Sunbathers can lounge on the beach or scale the steep cliffs that surround the quarry. The more daring ones swim out to the ruins to dive off the prison's roof. Rummu Quarry is also a popular destination for scuba divers due to its crystal-clear waters. Take your flippers and an oxygen tank with you as you explore what is essentially an underwater museum. Old mining equipment, machinery, barbed wire, brick walls, and prison cells make for a fascinating swim indeed. Number 14. Light bulb jellyfish. Darkness rules the deep sea. The sun's rays don't penetrate much deeper than 60 meters below the ocean's surface. To see the animal life, gelatinous or otherwise, that thrives at greater depths, scientists use submersible vehicles equipped with powerful lights. However, in order to truly comprehend life down there, those lights must be turned off. That's when the native lights, the mystical blue flickers of bioluminescence produced by hydrozoan jellyfish of the deep, become visible. The light produced by a chemical process within hydrozoan jellyfish is known as bioluminescent. The glow is caused by the reaction of luciferin with oxygen. This causes energy to be released and light to be emitted. The reaction is aided by an enzyme known as luciferase. Sometimes luciferin and luciferase are combined with oxygen to form a single molecule known as a photoprotein. When an ion such as calcium is present, a reaction occurs that produces light. To glow regularly, jellyfish must constantly replenish their luciferin supply. They may appear cute, but be aware that they're dangerous. Hydrozoan jellyfish are a taxonomic class of very small predatory animals that can live alone or in colonies and are mostly found in salt water. Number 13. Bering Sea Canyons. If you like the underwater sculpture, you'll love this underwater canyon. It's so massive that it can only be seen from space. Isn't that crazy? Zemchug is the deepest underwater canyon in the Bering Sea. Zemchug could fit the entire Grand Canyon inside it, with a volume of 5,800 cubic kilometers and a depth of 2.6 kilometers. Submarines, as well as the various marine life found in the Bering Sea, can travel through this deep sea site. Many species of ocean wildlife use Zemchug Canyon as a habitat. For example, the endangered short-tailed albatross congregates to feed over the canyon's surface waters. Northern fur seals, dolphins, and a variety of whale species all feed in the canyon. Because Zemchug Canyon is so vast, the underwater canyon can only be seen in its entirety if you're above the Earth's curvature. So unless you have connections that can get you off Earth and into a spaceship, you may have to settle for watching videos. Number 12. Movement of tectonic plates. In recent years, the North American and Eurasian tectonic plates have grown further apart as the North American plate has moved westward. This spectacular occurrence can be seen on land as well as by diving deep between the two plates near Iceland. A number of underwater photographers and scuba divers have done this. Alexander Mustard, a diver and marine biologist who has explored this area, describes his experience as incredible. He mentions that the sheer walls and clear water can cause nausea in visitors. Though the future cannot be predicted completely, scientists can make predictions based on the current rate of plate motion, which is approximately 2.5 centimeters per year. A few thousand miles northwest of California, The Silfur Fissure is one of Iceland's most amazing natural wonders. It's the only location on the planet where you can dive and swim between two tectonic plates. The Thingvellir earthquakes of 1789 opened several fissures, but the Silfur Fissure is cut into an underground spring filled with glacial meltwater from the nearby Langjökull Glacier. It's also one of the few places where you can dive between continents. In some cases, the space between the walls is so small that you can touch North America and Europe at the same time. Now it's time for today's topic. During a deep-sea cage diving expedition off Gansby, South Africa, one of the world's most notorious great white shark hotspots, divers experienced a moment that quickly turned into international headlines. A group led by veteran dive operator Michael Lang set out to film sharks at depths of nearly 80 feet, but what appeared in front of their cameras was unlike anything they had prepared for. From the murky green waters, a colossal shark emerged, its head larger than the steel cage meant to protect the divers. The creature's jaw opened wide, exposing rows of massive teeth that looked far more jagged than a normal great white. As it lunged toward the cage, metal bars groaned under the pressure, sending panic through the team. Divers reported feeling the entire cage shudder as if it might give way. The animal's size was staggering, estimated at over 25 feet, far beyond typical records for great whites in the region. Some experts reviewing the footage speculated it could be a freak specimen, while others raised the unsettling possibility of an undiscovered species, or even a surviving relative of the Megalodon. Authorities quickly suspended dives in the area, leaving many to wonder just what lurks in the depths beyond human reach. Number 11. Ancient underwater city of Pavlopetri. An urban revolution began in Greece 6,000 years ago. People began to live in more planned and structured communities rather than forming random settlements and villages. Cities emerged as a result. The remains of one such city, thought to be one of the oldest in the Greek Peloponnese, holds clues to what these early urban settlements looked like. There are well-planned streets, residential neighborhoods with gardens, a harbor with warehouses, government buildings for administration, temples, and an area with stone chamber tombs. We know a lot about this city, but we don't know what its original name was, and we have no idea what happened to it. There could have been a single large earthquake, a series of smaller ones, or a tsunami, or the sea level could have just naturally risen over time. What we do know is that this city, now known as Pavlopetri, became submerged underwater. Archaeologists believe that it's the world's oldest submerged city after discovering and identifying elements dating back to the Bronze Age. Scientists were able to determine that Pavlopetri was first inhabited in 2800 BC. Perhaps the most notable feature of this area is that its overall layout has remained intact until now, making it a site of exceptional importance to archaeologists. According to researchers, the city was submerged after a series of 3 cataclysmic earthquakes struck the area around 1000 BC. Its secrets have remained known for thousands of years, untouched by human intervention. And if you're into underwater archaeology, this is the place to go, as the architectural remains of this sunken city can be seen at only a depth of about 3 meters. Number 10. The Himalayan Skeleton Lake is located in the Indian Himalayas approximately 16,500 feet above sea level, a frosty pond in a lonely snowbound valley. It's only 130 feet wide and is frozen for much of the year. On warmer days, however, it puts on a macabre show as hundreds of human skeletons, some with flesh still attached, arise from Skeleton Lake. Who were these people and what happened to them? One popular theory held that they died at the same time in a catastrophic event over 1,000 years ago. An unpublished anthropological survey conducted several years ago examined 5 skeletons and estimated their age to be 1,200 years. For several decades, anthropologists had known about Rupkund Lake, but little was known about the origins of its skeletons. The remains have been disturbed and moved by rock slides, migrating ice, and even human visitors, making it difficult to determine when and how the individuals were buried, let alone who they were. Based on current population estimates, these individuals fall into 3 distinct genetic groups. 23 people, both men and women, had South Asian ancestors. The remains were discovered in the lake between the 7th and 10th centuries, but not all at once. Some skeletons were older than others, implying that many were interred at the lake decades apart. It's anyone's guess how all of these people died. There is no evidence of bacterial infections, so an epidemic is unlikely. Perhaps the difficult high-altitude environment was fatal, or perhaps it was just a burial ground for multiple different peoples. But no one knows for sure. Number 9. The Ghost Fleet. Shipwrecks are some of the most interesting things to find in the ocean. They tell a story from another era, provide clues about what happened and who was present, or simply just look cool. During World War I, dozens of shipyards across the United States built a fleet of wooden steamships to aid the fight against Germany. Ospreys now nest on the boats and bats breed within the hulls. More than 100 of these historic vessels remain, providing half-submerged habitats for fish, beavers, waterfowl, and vegetation along a stretch of the Potomac River near Mallows Bay, Maryland. Chuck Lagoon is located in the Pacific Ocean's Caroline Islands, north of New Guinea and east of the Philippines. The wreckage of numerous Japanese ships and aircraft that were destroyed during World War II were also discovered there. The Ghost Fleet was the subject of a Jacques Cousteau film released in 1969, in which the wreckage was explored and the site began to be recovered. However, bodies are said to have been discovered among the ships and planes, and the site is partially visible from above the water's surface. The wreckage of Japan's Imperial Fleet is a fantastic example of an underwater discovery that is not only fascinating but also informative and historic. Number 8. Britain's Atlantis. Britain formed the northwest corner of an icy continent at the end of the last ice age. Climate change has since revealed a vast continental shelf for humans to inhabit. Warming temperatures and rising sea levels gradually flooded low-lying areas, and a catastrophic eruption of water from a North American glacial lake and a tsunami from a submarine landslide off Norway flooded what remained of Doggerland 8,200 years ago. However, not all was lost from that time. Doggerland's nomadic presence can be found embedded in the seafloor, where modern fishermen frequently find ancient bones and tools dating back to around 9,000 years ago. These artifacts drew the attention of British and Dutch archaeologists and paleontologists to Doggerland's submerged history. But things aren't always what they appear to be. Looking at the area between mainland Europe and the eastern coast of Great Britain, you'd never guess it was anything other than a vast body of water. However, around 12,000 years ago, as the last major ice age was coming to an end, the area was very different. Doggerland was a series of gently sloping hills, marshland, heavily wooded valleys, and swampy lagoons instead of the North Sea. Also, Mesolithic people lived in Doggerland. They were hunter-gatherers who migrated with the seasons, fishing, hunting, and collecting food such as hazelnuts and berries. Number 7. The Great Blue Hole. With a name like this, the Great Blue Hole of Belize should draw curious divers and thrill-seekers, and it does. This natural sinkhole located off the coast of Belize is the largest ever recorded. The Belize Blue Hole, long a secret known only to Belizean fishermen, became popular in 1971 when iconic marine biologist and undersea explorer Jacques Cousteau visited the site. Cousteau and his crew aboard the Calypso explored the Blue Hole's depths, confirming that it was formed thousands of years ago when a rising tide flooded a network of caves. On that historic dive, Cousteau documented massive stalactites deep within the cave system, evidence that these formations once stood above sea level before being swallowed by rising waters. The team also encountered schools of Caribbean reef sharks circling near the rim, adding both danger and awe to the descent. Since then, countless divers from around the globe have made pilgrimages here, eager to retrace Cousteau's path into the abyss. Some adventurers even report a chilling silence the deeper they go, broken only by the hiss of their oxygen tanks as the sunlight fades away. The Blue Hole's alien-like environment has become a training ground for elite divers, with its sheer walls and sudden drop-offs testing even the most skilled. Scientists, too, continue to study the site, uncovering clues about climate change and ancient sea levels hidden in its limestone layers. The Belize Blue Hole, named by Cousteau as one of the top 10 best diving spots on the planet, is located about 60 miles off the coast of Belize. The Belize Blue Hole is a nearly perfectly circular body of water surrounded by the Lighthouse Reef Atoll. Divers can begin their descent to the now-flooded cave by using the shallow waters of the atoll's lagoon. The cave contains stalactites and stalagmites up to 40 feet in length. The coral atoll that surrounds the Belize Blue Hole has an inner ring of shallow, lighter-colored water that forms a natural ring around the flooded cave's deeper sapphire water. When the cave flooded thousands of years ago, the Belize Blue Hole was formed, a vertical entrance over 980 feet, across with the bottom more than 400 feet below the sea surface. Number 6. An ancient Greek computer. It was May 17, 1901, when Spiridon Stays, a Greek politician, visited a museum that housed treasures from an ancient shipwreck. Among all the artifacts, there was a round, green, encrusted piece of metal that caught his eye, as it looked like nothing else taken up from the bottom of the sea surrounding the tiny Greek island of Antikythera. Local fishermen had just discovered the shipwreck by chance. A 2,000-year-old ship discovered off the coast of a Greek island yielded a trove of treasures, including vases, jewelry, and a bronze statue. But there was one object that baffled archaeologists at the time. For decades, it sat largely ignored in storage, mistaken for a corroded lump of bronze until X-rays in the mid-20th century revealed intricate gearwork hidden inside. The precision of the gears astonished researchers, some of whom refused to believe that ancient craftsmen could have created such advanced technology. Later studies using modern CT scans uncovered dozens of interlocking gears with inscriptions describing celestial cycles, further cementing its reputation as a technological marvel centuries ahead of its time. Its discovery forced historians to reevaluate what was thought to be possible in the world of ancient science and engineering. It would take another century for scientists to realize the significance of this object. This round, green, encrusted piece of metal was given the name of the Antikythera mechanism. The handheld device dates back 2,000 years and predicted astronomical events for its ancient Greek users, such as planet movements and lunar and solar eclipses. Many researchers have dubbed the invention the world's first analog computer due to its stunningly sophisticated design. The device appears to have a set of interlocking bronze gears and a hand crank to turn the geared mechanism, as well as a display that showed information about the moon, sun, and planets against a background of stars. The Antikythera mechanism strongly suggests an ancient Greek tradition of complex mechanical technology, which was passed down through the Arab world and served as the foundation for European clock-making techniques. Number 5. Yonaguni Underwater Pyramid. Scientists disagree on whether the giant stone structure lying just below the waters of Yonaguni are the remains of a lost Japanese Atlantis or entirely natural formations. Masaaki Kimura, a marine geologist at Japan's University of the Ryukyus who has dived at the site for over 15 years, believes that they are the ruins of a 5,000-year-old city. Yonaguni is an island located near the southern tip of Japan's Ryukyu archipelago, approximately 75 miles east of Taiwan. The Yonaguni formations were discovered by a local diver in 1986, and a promontory on the island was unofficially renamed Isiki Hanto, or Ruins Point. Divers exploring the submerged terraces have described massive staircases that seem too symmetrical to be natural, with right-angled corners and flat platforms that resemble plazas. Some claim to have spotted carvings etched into the stone, faint but deliberate-looking, suggesting human hands shaped the rock long ago. Skeptics, however, argue that the unique geology of the area, with its natural fractures and erosion patterns, could have created the illusion of man-made structures. Still, the sheer scale of the site, spanning hundreds of meters underwater, fuels speculation about whether an advanced civilization once thrived here before vanishing into the sea. Tourists and divers continue to flock to Yonaguni, drawn by the mystery and the chance to swim among what could be humanity's oldest ruins. Some experts believe the structures are all that remains of Mu, a legendary Pacific civilization thought to have vanished beneath the waves. The structures appear to include the ruins of a castle, a triumphal arch, 5 temples, and at least one large stadium, all of which are linked by roads and water channels and are partially protected by what appear to be massive retaining walls. The ruins are at least 5,000 years old according to the dates of stalactites discovered inside underwater caves that he claims sank with the city. Additionally, similar structures to the nearby ruins have yielded charcoal dating to 1,600 years ago at least, possibly indicating ancient human inhabitants. Number 4. Christ of the Abyss. The Christ of the Abyss, with his head and hands raised to the sky, is the world's first underwater statue devoted to divers and those lost at sea. The bronze statue is located on the Ligurian Riviera in San Frutuoso between Camogli and Portofino. Following the death of the first Italian to wear scuba gear, Dario Gonzatti, in 1947, fellow diver Duilio Marcanti wanted to honor his friend by creating an underwater shrine. In the years leading up to its installation, the idea captured the imagination of both locals and the diving community, symbolizing peace, remembrance, and a connection between man and the sea. When the statue was finally lowered into the water, crowds gathered on the surface, watching divers carefully guide the figure into place beneath the waves. Over time, the bronze has become covered in corals and marine life, giving the statue an almost otherworldly glow as shafts of light filter down through the water. Countless divers have described the experience of approaching it as deeply spiritual, with many leaving offerings or pausing for silent reflection before its outstretched arms. Even non-divers are captivated, as underwater photographers and documentaries have spread its haunting beauty around the world. Guido Galletti, a sculptor, was commissioned to create a 2.5-meter bronze statue of Jesus Christ looking to the heavens, asking for God's blessing and protection. The statue weighs 260 kilograms and is attached to a concrete base to keep it anchored during storms. The Christ of the Abyss was placed on the seabed 17 meters off the harbor on August 22, 1954. The Christ of the Abyss has since become a popular tourist attraction. Over the years, the area is in a nature reserve and is difficult to reach by car or public transportation, but they do have many marked and maintained hiking trails for those who enjoy the beauty of nature. You can visit the underwater shrine by visiting one of the diving centers in San Frutuoso. You can take a boat right through the area, but there's no guarantee that you'll see the statue. Number 3. Ruins of Atlit Yam. No matter how many ancient cities are discovered in the depths of the sea, they're always intriguing. Atlit Yam's ruins are 8 to 12 meters deep in the Mediterranean Sea off the coast of Israel. The city, discovered in 1984, is thought to date from the Neolithic era and is one of the largest underwater settlements ever discovered. Divers exploring the site were stunned to find intact human skeletons, including a woman and child, preserved beneath layers of sand for thousands of years. Some of the skeletal remains even revealed signs of early tuberculosis, making Atlit Yam one of the earliest known places to show evidence of this disease. Archaeologists also uncovered fishing tools and grain grinding stones, indicating that the community thrived on both agriculture and the rich resources of the sea. The layout of the settlement, with its organized structures and ritual circle of stones, suggests a society far more advanced than originally imagined for its time. Perhaps the most haunting discovery is that the city appears to have been suddenly abandoned, with rising sea levels swallowing it whole and preserving its memory beneath the waves. Atlit Yam exploration has yielded the remains of houses, water wells, humans and animals, as well as objects, artifacts, and mysterious structures dating back thousands of years. One of the site's most impressive structures is thought to be a ritual site made of massive stones arranged in a circle around what was once a spring. The stone-built well, which was excavated to a depth of 5.5 meters, is another significant structural element of the site. Archaeologists also discovered sediment fill containing animal bones, stone, flint, wood, and bone artifacts at the well's base. This indicates that, in its final stages, it was no longer used as a water well and was instead used as a disposal pit. The change in function was most likely caused by the salinization of the water due to sea level rise. The Atlit Yam wells were most likely dug and built during the earliest stages of occupation at the end of the 9th millennium BC and were critical to the survival of a permanent settlement in the area. Number 2. The goblin shark. Meet the stuff of nightmares. An aquatic ninja with extendable jaws and nail-like teeth that detects its prey's electrical fields and sneaks up on them. Luckily, you're not a fish. The goblin shark is one of those shark species that astounds anyone who comes into contact with it. Because this shark resembles prehistoric monsters, it's sometimes referred to as a living fossil. This shark is the only known living member of the Mitsucarinidae family, which dates back over 125 million years. Fossil evidence shows that its ancestors once swam alongside dinosaurs, yet remarkably, its body design has barely changed since then. They dwell at extreme depths, often between 100 and 1,200 meters, which explains why they are so rarely seen and remain one of the ocean's great mysteries. On the rare occasions they've been brought to the surface, their pale, flabby bodies give them an even eerier, ghost-like appearance, making them look more like creatures from a nightmare than real life. Researchers have documented their lightning-fast jaws, which can spring forward like a slingshot to capture prey in the blink of an eye, a hunting technique seen in no other shark. Their diet mostly consists of squid, fish, and crustaceans, but how they navigate the pitch-black depths to find such meals is still a puzzle. Some scientists suggest that their elongated snout, packed with electroreceptors, acts like a radar, allowing them to detect even the faintest signals of life in the deep. Encounters with goblin sharks are so rare that most of what we know comes from accidental catches in deep-sea fishing nets, adding to their aura of mystery. The goblin shark certainly has a distinct appearance, with an elongated, flat snout that gives it the appearance of a goblin, thus the name. This shark species may not compete with others in terms of size, speed, or even strength, but the goblin shark certainly embodies mystery. The common name goblin shark is a translation of the original Japanese name tenguzame. A tengu is a Japanese mythical creature with a red face and a long nose, and same means shark in Japanese. The common name for this shark species is elephant shark. Number 1. Bimini Road, Bahamas. Greek legend has it that the city of Atlantis sank into the ocean in a single day 11,000 years ago, wiping out its existence. Since then, scientists, treasure hunters, and philosophers have searched in vain for any trace of the lost world, which is said to be partially intact somewhere beneath the ocean waves. As one of the world's most well-known legends, anything resembling a man-made structure discovered during an ocean dive sparks massive media attention. A diver discovered a series of stones 18 feet below the surface off the coast of North Bimini Islands, Bahamas, in 1968. The stones appeared to be man-made and were evenly spaced out in a half-mile road-like line. News of the find quickly spread across the globe, attracting explorers, mystics, and even celebrities who believed the Bimini Road was the first tangible proof of Plato's Atlantis. Some locals whispered that ancient prophecies had long foretold that evidence of Atlantis would be revealed in the Bahamas during the 20th century, adding a layer of mystery to the discovery. Archaeologists who visited the site were split. Some argued it was a natural formation caused by fractured limestone slabs, while others insisted the deliberate alignment was too precise to be accidental. Divers who swam the length of the road described a surreal, almost otherworldly experience, as if they were walking through the ruins of a forgotten civilization hidden beneath the waves. The discovery sparked an outpouring of media attention, with some claiming the stones were part of a wall or road that was once part of a larger city. Everyone hoped that it would lead to the discovery of Atlantis, and the discovery of two other similar so-called roads fueled the excitement. The Bimini Road is made of limestone blocks, the majority of which are rectangular in shape. The majority of them appear to have been cut with right angles at first, but time underwater has eroded them into a rounded shape. The main roads blocks are 10 to 13 feet long and 7 to 10 feet wide, while the two side roads have smaller but equally spaced blocks. The bigger blocks appear to be lined up and arranged in sized order. Some of them appear to be stacked as if purposefully propped up. Wherever this road came from, it's an awesome sight to see beneath the waves. Which of these discoveries do you think was the most mysterious? Do you believe we'll ever fully understand what they truly are? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps us know what kind of content you enjoy so we can bring you more of what you're looking for. And if you're always eager to learn new things, tap the bell icon to stay updated. We look forward to seeing you in the next one.